On the afternoon of October 17, 1989, as the Oakland A's and San Francisco Giants were set to battle each other in Game 3 of the World Series, a magnitude 6.9 earthquake shook the San Francisco Bay Area for over 15 seconds, causing deaths, injuries, and extensive damage. For Bay Area residents, the images of the earthquake are still as vivid as they were on that fateful day. The broken asphalt, the collapsed buildings, and flames reaching to the skies. Many remember living without gas, without electricity, some without a place to stay. But something else happened that many initially forget.
We had no running water of any kind for 2 to 3 days.
You don't appreciate it till the water is shut off.
Without water, you can't survive.
What happened to San Francisco's water system that day? What did it take to put the broken pieces back together? And what have we learned to prepare us for the next one? Over 300 water mains and sewer pipes in San Francisco shattered that day, leaving thousands without drinking water and firefighters without water pressure to fight fires. The broken pipes ruptured streets, flooded intersections, and caused massive sinkholes. Much of the damage occurred in the Marina District, where homes built on landfill collapsed onto their foundations.
And as I turned off of North Point onto Fillmore, I saw our building down. My apartment, which was on the 2nd floor, was now just about ground floor.
This whole street started cracking, and then all of a sudden, boom, it all collapses. And now that left a sinkhole about 8 by 12 feet. So look down and his pipe had burst. The water shot out of there like Old Faithful.
Some of the apartment buildings that were significantly destroyed, I knew many people in there. And so I would walk by there and see those buildings just, demolished or destroyed.
Many residents quickly discovered there was no gas or electricity, but some also made another unfortunate discovery.
We had no running water of any kind, potable or not, for 2 to 3 days. What I never realized is the most precious possession is the water.
There was some residual water in the pipes, and I would open up the faucets and there would be just lots of brown water that was coming out.
It was a lasting memory for my career to see people and the impacts of not having water to drink, to flush the toilets, do cooking, whatever else you needed to do.
It's just amazing how important water is, You don't appreciate it till the water is shut off.
Most of the city's residents who lived through that day remember firefighters, police, and paramedics arriving on the scene. Largely unnoticed, however, were hundreds of water department staff, many of whom were the first to respond.
There were around 250 main breaks just here in the marina itself.
The first 3 days, it was just so much overwhelmed. As soon as I put a clamp on the main break, 2 feet away, the water would come up. One night I fixed 25 main breaks.
All night long, 24 hours, with brilliant lights, day and night, repairing water mains, going in and checking damage underneath the buildings.
The PUC and the water department were on the job. Our city workers were magnificent during that earthquake. All rallied and knew what to do. They were so professional.
You had no feeling, you weren't tired. I mean, it was so much to do, you just you did it. I mean, that's what we do, is we fix broken water mains.
One of the first leaks we noticed, it was a leak off this 8-inch main right here. That's one of the first places we dug. Then as material arrived from the wholesalers, it was stocked all the way down the street here.
Thanks to the dozens of water department employees who worked triple shifts for several days straight, water service was the first utility to be fully restored.
It's amazing. We never made one phone call to call anybody into work. Everybody just showed up, and we had more people than we needed.
3 days we had the water to most people back on and restored, but there was tons of leaks and services and main breaks. Myself and my partner, we stayed in the marina for at least another month, doing service renewals and fixing whatever little service leaks were there into November.
They also provided valuable information about when it was safe to drink the water.
The water department told us that although water had been restored, hooray, that we still should not drink it. Then we had a notice on our door saying, it's okay now, drink the water.
But when it came on, I was so excited, I grabbed a glass and I drank that water, and oh, it was so great.
From out of the chaos came some new ideas.
One of the best things that came out of that earthquake was the development of self-sufficiency through the neighborhood emergency response teams.
We asked the fire department if they could train us for future earthquakes so that we'd know what to do as citizens. We saw what it was like to live for 24 hours with no help from the outside. That was the genesis of the NERT program.
What we do in San Francisco every year is train dozens of citizens in every neighborhood to be able to help their fellow citizens.
San Francisco has a long history of violent earthquakes. After the 1906 quake, engineer Michael O'Shaughnessy built a gravity-based system that carries water 167 miles from Hetch Hetchy Reservoir to San Francisco. Today, this system provides water to 2.5 million people throughout the Bay Area. In the next 30 years, scientists predict another major quake will strike here. In 2002, city voters passed what's now known as the Water System Improvement Program to rebuild the system so it'll withstand a major earthquake. Many projects are complete, with others in progress, including a new pipeline to supply emergency drinking water between San Francisco and the East Bay.
Well, I think the Water System Improvement Program is going to help because it'll give us more resources.
Everybody thinks the WSIP is about rebuilding the water system. It is rebuilding it, but it's really rebuilding it with redundancy. If one pump station fails, there's another pump station over there that'll do the exact same thing.
So having a more reliable transmission system is going to be also critically important to make sure we can get water to the people.
The coordination between the departments has improved immensely. So if something does happen, and if you need more water, more pipe, more fittings, you can get it from somebody else.
An emergency drinking water plan is also in place.
We have 67 fire hydrants throughout the city, and they are marked with a blue water drop. Those fire hydrants are set up so that they will provide drinking water after a major earthquake.
We're heading in the right direction. We'll be much more prepared for the next one.
Citizens must do their part too.
Every resident in this city should be prepared to supply themselves with drinking water for at least 72 hours.
After a major disaster, we probably can't rely on outside help from the federal government right away. That's why it's so important for all of us to prepare an emergency plan for our own families, storing water, being prepared to take care of ourselves for the first 72 hours of a natural disaster.
For many of us, 1989 seems like a long time ago. But those who experienced that October day will never forget.
Even if a bus goes by and shakes the building, I still get that feeling as an earthquake. It triggers all those memories.
I met some of probably the nicest people that I've ever met in my whole life. People were friendly, helping everybody. Most of the neighbors we met were very appreciative of what we did. Once you see the damage in the neighborhood, you just, you felt you had to help these people.
The water department's an emergency operation. That's what we thrive on emergencies. And the bigger the emergency, the better they respond.
The whole Marina District had water in 3 days, and we did a really good job, and we celebrate that day.